Hi everyone, I'm delighted to have you here today. My name is Rebecca Good and I'm an educational psychologist with nearly 2 decades of experience. I'm also the founder of Education Elephant. Over the years, I've had the privilege of working closely with schools, educators and students, supporting them in the area of assessment and their assessment processes. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to the SPaRCS assessment tool, a standardised test for 13 to 18-year-olds that can truly make a difference in education. So you're very welcome along to this presentation on unlocking student potential with the SPaRCS. So before we dive into the details of SPaRCS, let me take a moment to introduce myself. I am an educational psychologist with a very rich background in helping schools optimise their assessment methods. In my nearly 2 decades of work, I've witnessed the incredible impact that effective assessment can have on students' lives and indeed on a teacher's workday. I know how important it is to equip schools with the right assessment tools, ones that don't take forever to give and ones that are clear, easy to use and built on sound scientific research. Today we're going to explore a startling statistic that underscores the critical need for assessment, and we'll also delve into the solution, or one of the solutions, which is the SPaRCS test, and how it can change the game for both you as educators and your students. So let's begin our journey, one that can reshape the way we work and one that can help us support the students that we work with on their educational journeys. So the statistic that I spoke about, before we dive into the power of SPaRCS, let me share this rather sobering statistic with you, or indeed 2 rather sobering statistics with you. The first is one I imagine most people already know, and that is that 1 in 5 students, or 20%, have a learning or attention difficulty that can affect their teaching and learning. That means that in a class of 30, there are indeed 6 students that have a difficulty which you may or may not know about that's going to affect your teaching and their learning. Indeed, there's actually more than this in your class that have maybe not a diagnosable difficulty, but one also that will affect their education and behaviour and indeed their mental health. A more concerning stat, though, is that an astonishing 60% of students with a difficulty pass through school unidentified. That's right, 6 out of every 10 students facing these kinds of challenges go unnoticed, struggling in silence. That statistic isn't just a number. It represents real students who are navigating their educational journey without the tailored support that they need. So let's take a moment to consider the impact that this can have on students. The research shows us that when students with learning and attention difficulties remain unidentified, they face significant challenges. And these challenges can include missed opportunities for support, so they miss out on the individualised support that could make a real difference to both their personal and their academic development. They struggle in the classroom. They struggle to keep up with their peers, which can lead to frustration and disengagement, which may lead in turn to behavioural challenges in the classroom. Lowered motivation and self-esteem. Adolescence, that time between 13 and 11 to maybe 18 years old, is a time when self-esteem and motivation can be particularly vulnerable. Struggling with learning difficulties without proper assessment and support can lead to feelings of frustration and inadequacy. So identifying these issues early on can really boost self-esteem and self-confidence in students. All it takes is one teacher. Mental health. Unaddressed learning difficulties and challenges can contribute to stress, anxiety, and other mental health issues. So early assessment and indeed intervention can reduce the psychological and the academic challenges that students may face and improve overall well-being. And all of these early struggles can have long-lasting effects on a person's academic and personal development. So it's clear that identification and support of these students is essential, and this is where SPaRCS comes into play. So SPaRCS, which stands for Spelling, Processing Speed and Reading Comprehension Speed, offers a comprehensive solution. It empowers educators and educational psychologists by providing you with a method for early identification of learning difficulties. So SPaRCS focuses on 3 core cognitive elements that are important for success in schools. And identifying these areas, or indeed weaknesses in these areas, at the very start of a student's academic journey, their second level academic journey, means that you can put in place interventions as early as possible. It allows you also to create tailored support plans. So with the insights you gain from the SPaRCS, you can develop personalised support plans that can address each student's unique challenges. And indeed, it may help you focus on other areas for assessment within those students. Improved learning outcomes. Students who receive timely and targeted interventions will often experience improved academic and personal outcomes. That brings us on to one of the most important, because a happy student is going to learn, an unhappy student is more than likely going to be disengaged. So enhanced student well-being. When students feel supported and successful, their overall well-being improves. So SPaRCS isn't just a tool, it's a transformative approach to education that's going to put the student at the centre of their learning journey. Let me talk quickly about the adolescents. SPaRCS is aimed at 13 to 18-year-olds. It's that period when adolescence is really occurring. So adolescence is a period of significant cognitive, emotional and social development. And during this time, students transition from elementary to secondary education, or primary to secondary education, is where the academic demands become much more complex and indeed subject specific. So assessing cognitive and academic skills during adolescence is crucial, because it allows educators to evaluate how students are adapting to those increased academic challenges and whether they possess the necessary cognitive skills to excel. Often, it's not until this time that a student's real difficulties can begin to surface. They manage during their foundational primary school. But when students are exposed to a wider range of subjects and the cognitive demands and pressure increases, then difficulties can begin to surface. So assessing at this stage really helps identify those students that are at risk, that perhaps have been missed in their primary education, and we can ensure that they're equipped to handle their subjects like maths, science, English, and all the other subjects that require those higher order thinking skills, those problem solving skills, as well as helping them work at the pace that's demanded at second level and indeed the pressure that's demanded at second level. Let's shift our focus for a minute to another essential aspect of SPaRCS, the significant time-saving benefits of the test. So in the fast-paced world of education, time is a very precious resource. I'm well aware, I used to be a teacher myself, of the time constraints and pressure that teachers are under. So SPaRCS doesn't just empower teachers, it also respects their time. So SPaRCS is a group assessment, so it enables you to assess whole groups of students in under 40 minutes. You don't need to spend your time individually assessing each student or waiting for teachers to come to you with behavioural or academic concerns. With SPaRCS, you can streamline your assessment process to create an efficient and time-saving one. It's very easy to use. SPaRCS has clear, short and sharp instructions, making it easy for any teacher with some experience to use. There's no messing around with complicated forms, data transformations, or unclear instructions. SPaRCS is to the point and simple to use. It's going to give you more time for support, so streamlining your assessment process, assessing students all at once, is going to leave you more time not only for your own self-care, but also to spend time on caring for those students and putting in place that individualized support or identification methods that are required. So imagine the possibilities: more time to engage with your students, more time for yourself, and more time to tailor your teaching for their unique needs. So, what's in the SPaRCS? Well, there are 3 core subtests that assess those important cognitive and academic areas necessary for success in second level. You've got spelling, processing speed, and reading comprehension speed, or really it's reading speed with comprehension. We'll dive into those subtests a little bit more in the next slides. So it's a pen and paper test, and it's normed for students aged 13 to 18. And it's been constructed on the back of years of research and development. So apart from the many benefits of using the test, an added bonus is that it's recognised by the Joint Council for Qualifications, so you can use it for evidence for access arrangements. And in Ireland, it's also listed as one of the approved Department of Education and Science tests, so you can use it to apply for accommodations in exams or race, and you can also use it for university or college schemes such as DARE. So the first subtest is spelling. I'm sure most people are very familiar with spelling tests. SPaRCS is a single word spelling test comprising of 40 words which increase in difficulty. Everyone does all spellings, which is great because it gives you a sense of the kinds of errors that students might make when they're struggling. This will help you to put in place targeted support. Are they spelling phonetically? Are they simply guessing? Are they random words? Are they very close to the target word but mixing up an I and an E and so on? It's quick to administer, approximately 8 to 10 minutes for the whole spelling test. And including the spelling test here was very important because spelling is an essential skill for effective writing and communication at any level, but particularly second level. Also, in older children, it's one of the biggest indicators of dyslexia. Built within this spelling test is a very unique feature that you don't find in any other spelling tests, and indeed it's a validity indicator. This validity indicator is there to help you identify when students may not be trying their best, or in other words, perhaps when somebody is deliberately trying to score low on the test. This may be particularly beneficial for those teachers perhaps that are using the test for important reasons, maybe for applying for Irish exemptions in Ireland, or perhaps exam accommodations in the UK and Ireland, or indeed any other country. The processing speed test measures how quickly a student can process visual information. It's assessed using a 2-minute task, so it's very fast, where students need to simply match letters and numbers. They work as fast as they can. Why is it important? Well, efficient processing speed supports tasks like reading, problem solving, and comprehension. Any difficulties here can signify potential difficulties with attention and concentration, perhaps difficulties learning at the regular pace of the classroom, and indeed perhaps they will encounter difficulties with higher order or higher thinking tasks. There's a good deal of evidence that shows that processing speed is situation specific, but generally if it's slow, a student is likely to have difficulties on any task where working fast is important, like keeping up with the classroom, or indeed more complex tasks like mathematical calculation, reading and writing. The reading comprehension speed, or reading speed with comprehension, is a test that evaluates a student's ability to read and understand at pace. There's little point in being a fast reader if you don't understand what you're reading, or indeed if you're a good reader but you need to read and reread texts in order to understand them. This slows you down. It tires you out. It eats up your cognitive resources, leaving you less mental energy for higher order tasks like comprehension, which is so important. Strong reading comprehension speed is particularly important in older students because it does aid in in the student understanding more complex tasks. It preserves cognitive energy or thinking energy. It's a skill really that is demanded at second level. And this test assesses students or asks students to work for as fast as they can for 10 minutes. They read short passages silently to themselves, mimicking the conditions that they would work at in school. And they're asked to fill in the blanks in sentences. Needless to say, they need to be able to understand what they've read in order to fill in the blank. They work as accurately as they can, and their score is based on how far they got in 10 minutes and how accurate they were. So that concludes the presentation. I think all that's left to say is that if you're ready to make a difference in your students' lives, then you're more than welcome to book a call with me, Rebecca Good, or indeed any of my team. You can explore our website today to purchase the SPaRCS and start transforming your assessment process, or give us a call at the number on screen to find out a little bit more. Thanks for your time.